Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we'll be on iRacing for round 4 of the Beyond Blue Formula V Championship. Tonight's track, we're heading to Oulton Park Circuit in the Foster's configuration. Now tonight's session we have a 10-minute practice and a 10-minute qualifying and a 40-minute race, and fuel is capped to 40%, so it will force drivers to have a pit stop to be able to get through the 40 minutes of racing. It is a standing start, restarts a single file back, and we also have a more active race control tonight, so actually got a few drivers on track plus a watcher overseeing for incidents. That's going to make things quite interesting. So standings after the third round, we have Sebastian Van Del leading the championship with 359 points, just 59 points ahead from Chaz Mossett. He's currently sitting on 300 points, and then in third place is Blake Urquhart with 287 points. Last week we were at Phillip Island Circuit. We had Hayden Sell after qualifying third take the victory. We had Blake Urquhart take the fastest lap bonus point, setting a 1:57.178. In this series we are supporting Beyond Blue, and Beyond Blue does have a range of media sites you can get to for more information and support. So there is the Beyond Blue website themselves, so it's a great source of information, plus access to their web chat and email support service, plus other several websites so you can actually get some information about healthy workplaces, how to handle mental health during the coronavirus, information for new mums and dads and family support, plus also information for primary and secondary school access. So, and out of all those, Beyond Blue has 7.5 million unique visitors and 10.7 million visits to all Beyond Blue websites. So they already get a fair bit of traffic going to it. So if anyone, yourself or your friends or family are needing support, they are available 24/7. You can go to their website beyondblue.org.au/get support for the online or email chat. Otherwise ring them on 1300 224636. So over to the track now. I should see that pop up in just a moment. And if you are just joining us for the stream, don't be shy, jump in on the chat, say hello, let us know who you think's going to be performing the top tonight, whether they'll be taking pole position, taking the victory. Will Sebastian dominate, as we saw in the first few rounds? And we did have Hayden join in the series late last week and had some phenomenal pace. So let us know who you are here cheering on. And there is a bunch of sound effects controls underneath, so you can cheer and applaud your favourite drivers as the race goes on. So I'll bring up some information in a moment. And you can see we are fundraising for Beyond Blue as part of us supporting the organisation and raising awareness about mental health issues and suicide prevention. We've raised $395 of our goal of $500. And we did just celebrate with an extra stream as we reached the $350 mark. We were going to do a no rules race on Project Cars 2, which we did on Friday night. It was a lot of fun seeing our drivers get down and dirty in the name of charity. And our next goal is, if once we reach $450, we're going to hold a demolition derby on Project Cars 2. So do head over onto the link fundraise.beyondblue.org.au/Apex Esports League, and you can donate directly to Beyond Blue through that link, and then that will actually contribute to our goal. And once we reach that 450, we'll have that extra event, and hopefully by the end of this series we can definitely reach our goal of 500. That would be fantastic. So current times on the board. Hayden Sell coming through with the quickest time so far in the practice session. There's 3 minutes remaining of practice. Hayden setting a very nice time, a 1:11.068. We did have a fair few drivers registered for the lobby practice session beforehand. Hopefully we get a fair few coming across still here. Currently there's 21 drivers registering and a few more still to load in. Second quickest out there so far is Mark Oulton, setting on 1:11.614. Probably going to be seeing some 110s once the cars are actually able to get a little bit of a tow. These cars really benefit from getting the slipstream advantage. We've seen some great slingshot passes occur with these cars so far through the series. Mark's is pulling that car up. Third quickest out there so far is Matt Tesario, setting a 1:12.5. And Blake Urquhart, who's currently coming up third in the championship. It's a bit behind Chaz Mostert, who isn't in the session tonight and he missed last week's. We do have, I think, a few more newcomers tonight. Adam J. Jurecki just joining the league just moments before the session started. So welcome aboard and wishing him luck today. Try and make familiar with some of these liveries. A little bit loose, running wide on that final corner. It is quite a tricky one to try and navigate. We'll jump on board with the driver and Hayden's parked that car up into the pits. So Stephen Banks. He's with the Century Motorsport KFC. Stephen Banks is currently running 8th in the championship. He's got 185 points. Just ahead of him is Sean McKenzie. Not sure if Sean's in the session yet. Okay. Our championship leader is Sebastian. He's currently got the second quickest time. We saw some great laps being set by Hayden, Sebastian. They are both following pretty tightly for a majority of the race. And there is the practice session concluded. Drivers have now got 10 minutes to qualify. And drivers do receive points for their qualifying position to go towards their championship points. Drivers scrambling out of the pits. JJ Hamilton, I do believe he debuted with us last week. Aaron Thompson's a regular comer as well. We did have Pablo debut with us last week, I believe, as well. May have even been the round beforehand. There's a good cluster of cars heading out. They're probably going to be wanting to gauge each other just to see how quick they're going and see if they can tuck in and enjoy a good tow, as that could definitely throw an advantage their way to be able to steal a pole position. We have Matt Tesario with Team Track Days, Tony Vaselis with Downshift. Over to Shane Moreland. Oh, there's a bit of chaos going on. Not sure who that was. That was just spilled. Drivers about to start their first timed laps now. Matt Hardigan with Track Days as well. We have a few Track Days drivers out on there. And Philip Buckland did debut with us last week. Robbie Bradbury in the matching team colours as Stephen Banks. We'll try and jump on board with our leader for a hot lap once he gets around for a good timed lap. Oh, he's made a little bit of contact in the qualifying. That's going to cost him dearly. There's going to be a bit of damage to that car as he did flip that up over the suspension. Not sure who that was that he got caught up in behind. And I haven't covered Bruce Robinson. I do believe he disconnected or had to retire out early last week. So a little bit of chaos going around that final corner. Bruce having to turn around and find a way, and hopefully hasn't taken any damage and he can just head back out onto the track. There's the first time lapse coming through. Newcomer Adam J. Jurecki setting a 1:11.8. Matasera in with a 1:11.9. Well, could it be possible to see a 1:10 with the amount of cars there out pretty close? And his teammates here with track days following each other in a 1-2 fashion. We have Joel Robinson still currently loading into the session. Try and find someone who's close to getting a start of a lap. We'll jump on board. So we're going to jump on with Stephen Banks. Runs wide on the first corner. So it's a very quick track. Nice tight line. This is one of the slower corners. Down the second or third gear. Power through into the back section of the track. Might stick down along the back straight into fourth gear. So we'll be struggling to try and top out here. This is where the slipstream advantage is going to be benefiting them greatly. Oh, he's gotten into a big slide. We've done the commentator's curse. Hopefully he doesn't take damage and he can just keep this lap going. No, he's going to bring that car in. Hopefully we might get a little bit more luck with Mark Oulton so we can cover a full lap. So there's half the session of qualifying remaining. There's a little bit of slip. I think that may have been Aaron Thompson. Mark has currently got the pole time at 1:11.226. This is where we saw Stephen spin because it is actually a fast corner. Maybe heading a little bit too quick and start that turn in. The tail will slide out and this thing will just slide off the track. Down into the final corners. This is where we saw a fair few losing it up there. Very slippery hitting that curb. You can see him have to fight the oversteer. And you got to be careful not to run too wide. That was a pretty good lap. That was a 1:11.226. That is another pole time. So that's the fastest he's set. That was a phenomenal lap to jump on board for. It was well timed to get around there. Blake Urquhart in with the second quickest. It's currently got a 1:11.384. There's not much gap between him and Mark. Third quickest out there is Max Harris. He's coming back out on the pits. So he's got enough time to get out and around, get those tyres up to temp. Doesn't need to try and shave much off. Half a second and that pole is gone. All he's going to need is just the right pace on the lap. A little bit slippery still. He's out there on those cold tyres. And he's just rolled that into the wall, so it's definitely cost him. are just joining us and you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that follow button so you do get notified when we go live for our broadcast. We broadcast iRacing on Monday night, 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, and also on Project Cars 2 on Thursday nights at the same time. So there's plenty of racing action available. And don't forget to use those sound effects. They will be played over the stream, so have some fun. And don't forget, we are fundraising for Beyond Blue as part of this series. It's raising mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And we have, we've just had some more come through, so someone has just dug in and donated. So we're at $395, that's now at $405. That's from Mick, thanks very much, Mick. If you do a donation, we can give you a call out on there. I do have it set so email notification will come through. So be sure to do that. We only need $45 more and we will be able to have a smash up derby this Friday night. So that would be very exciting. It was a lot of fun to cover the no rules race on Friday night just gone. So far there's only 3 or 4 seconds separating 20 cars. Being some very quick lap times out there. So about 22 cars registered. Currently not in this session. We're just waiting on Joel Robinson and Troy Mortensen to join in. They got 40 seconds left of qualifying. If they are late at getting in, they'll be starting from the back if they don't get to grid up in time. Hayden Sell in with second quickest. Very close times between Hayden and Blake. 1:11.312 and 1:11.384. 17 seconds left before the session ends, and that will be just enough time for them to get one more lap in if they haven't crossed the line already. Oh, there's a little contact between Blake and Hayden. That's put Blake into a spin. Sebastian was getting some pretty good pace in the practice session. It's a little bit off pace at the moment. I'm not sure if that contact between him and Blake's cost him for this lap. He's not going to get another lap in because he's just crossed the line, so that's done it for his session. I do believe that time was invalidated with the contact. It's his quickest lap at 1:11.973. A few drivers already crossed the line and finish up. We've got about half the field of 22 out there. Mark, our current pole setter, looking good to score those 25 qualifying points. However, he does have the second quickest driver out there. Oh, and he has given him a help as well. Mark pulls over. Hayden would have been having a very good run going down that straight. Comes through the final corners. Oh, you know, it must have been a very good lap. He's bringing into the pits. He has to be very cautious. He doesn't come in there too quick, otherwise it'd be a DQ for him. Not sure where Adam is there. Right to Serio. Wrapping up his final lap here. Will he improve it? His best is a 1:11.7. That was a 1:11.8. Very similar pace. So he's keeping consistent, but it wasn't enough to bump that position up. And it looks like we have Mark Oulton taking the pole position. I think we've got Adam just hiding off there at the moment. And then we have it go a bit skew as the drivers all load up. So We have Mark Oulton taking pole position, scoring those 25 championship points. So can he follow suit and keep that pace throughout the rest of the race? Mark Oulton's currently coming 10th in the championship. He's got 149 points. Just ahead of him was Jake Kostecki with 176 points. He didn't make last week or this week's round. So his next closest competitor is Stephen Bakes with 185 points. So drivers now have a couple of minutes to hit that grid button. If they do miss that, they will be starting from the pits. It will be costly to them. Waiting on 3 drivers to hit the rotary button. There's 2 to go. It's Shane Morland and Hayden Sell. Just waiting on Hayden Sell, and that's all drivers now. So we're getting the lights to count down as we start the race to round 4. There's a few little cars nudging up, and it's green flag, and it's a little bit of a delayed start by a few. There's a bit of movement down that middle pack there. It looks like Stephen Banks getting a good dart up and taking 1 or 2 positions, just getting ahead of Sebastian Vandel. But Mark Oulton gets away pretty good, runs a little bit wide in turn 1. But gets a very strong lead early on as he comes down through turn 2 from Hayden Sell. He's going to have to try and push that lead out pretty quick, otherwise we're going to see Hayden use that slipstream advantage and then start sitting on his tail in that back section. Blake Urquhart also sitting nice and tightly. It looks like a pretty good clean start to the race. There's a good row of single file cars going all the way back through turn through to turn 3, should I say. It was Robbie Bradbury that we saw actually darting up the inside. So getting away to a very good start. Not the best view there. Seeing the tree as we zoom out. Mark Oulton just runs wide. A little bit of slip, but he saves that car. That was very lucky. That's going to allow Hayden to be able to position himself up along the inside of pit straight. Inside line, pushes out. Mark Oulton runs very wide on that corner. He carried a lot of speed. He was trying to stay that wider line to allow room for Hayden. That could have spelt disaster. He could have definitely ended up into a spin. Hayden's going to have another shot at getting around Mark. Debut tonight, doing well up in 3rd position. Matt Cesario also hanging on behind. We have Blake Urquhart tailing in behind Matt. Adam is closing in and sitting tight on Hayden's tail. There's not much room between these few. One small mistake is going to see all 3 of them all caught up in it. They come through on the final corner. Mark gets a decent run, but Hayden's going to have a nice sling, except it's going to block Adam's attempt to try and slingshot around the 2 of them. This is where we saw the 2 get side by side in turn 1 before. Mark still runs out onto that curb, but he holds the line. Hayden not getting enough speed to be able to take that inside pass. Board the roll bar, seeing Hayden hunt down Mark. He's got some very quick lap pace. Last lap was a 1:12.333. He gets up alongside. He's going to be coming up onto a very sharp right-hand corner. This is where a lot of cars go for a slide. He doesn't want to squeeze out. Gets around nice and clean. Looks like there's almost going to be a little bit of a switch back. Mark Oulton takes back that lead. They're side by side, Adam and Hayden. Hayden does drop back a little bit. Blake Urquhart's just come out of nowhere. A huge amount of speed coming down to pit straight. He's had a great run in from the final corner. They're 2 by 2 going down through the first couple of corners. It's hard to see who's got the advantage, but I think Hayden's just gotten it in the head. They're still side by side. Mark's not giving up. He's going to have the outside line. He's going to be able to carry a little bit more speed. I think Hayden has definitely got that track position now. He's going to have to tuck back in and off that line. However, look at Adam here. He's going to sneak up along the side of them. See how close he is getting to these guys. On the nose of the Formula V. He's carrying a huge amount of speed. However, Hayden pulls away. And Mark Oulton in behind, sitting very tight still as well. Some good lead changes out the front. There's some great battling. Blake Urquhart still just sitting in behind. He's keeping pace with these guys, but he hasn't made any moves. He may just be sitting back and gauging these guys and waiting for his opportunity. But he did sneak up. He's gotten around Matt Cesario. So he has gained some positions. It's Hayden Sell currently leading the race. However, Adams looking to get around. He's got positioned up along the inside, but then he had to pull back to take the next corner. Mark is sitting very tight on his tail. He goes for a move up along the inside line. This is where we saw Hayden make the pass. Yeah, he does have to shave off a lot more speed if he's going to have that inside line for that second last corner. Those cars popping as they're hitting the roof limiter as they shift up that gear. Oh, they both run slightly wide on the curb, a little bit of dirt. It's side by side between Blake Urquhart and Adam J. Jarecki. Blake manages to get up ahead. However, Adam's not giving up. They're side by side now through the next corner. Adam gets a very good run on. However, Blake's going to have inside line here. Can he be able to push through and steal that position? Sebastian and Matt also side by side. They're going 2 by 2 down along the back straight. There's going to be no room for error with these. They tuck back in. Adam switches line, crosses to the inside, then back to the outside. He's got a lot of pace. He was 0.05 quicker than Blake last lap. Oh, Matt runs slightly wide. Sebastian's losing a lot of speed there. Matt Cesario starting to close in on him. He did get around, but he's now sitting right tight on Adam's tail. Sebastian makes a move, getting around Adam. Adam's still sitting nice and tight behind Sebastian. He's not going to let him get away too quickly. Makes another exchange, slingshots around. He's going to have that inside line. Sebastian carries a lot of pace. See Adam gauging that inside line. A little bit of slip from Sebastian. However, he did get through a lot quicker. That's now allowed Matt Cesario to catch back up to Adam. Matasero did swing out to look to go around on pit straight, but he didn't carry enough speed to have advantage of the tow. Mark Oulton moves back into position 1. We've had Hayden lead for 4 laps. Mark's led for 3. They were our quickest times being set in the qualifying session. We've had Joel Robinson have to retire out. I'm not sure if Bruce Robinson has also retired. Blake looking to get up and have a go at Sebastian. Adams moved down into 5th position. Matasero has really dropped off some speed. Might have made a slight error to have lost that gap that he was holding between the rest of the race leaders. Here we have Sebastian and Adam. We're side by side coming into turn 1. There's a tight battle between our race leaders, Mark Oulton and Hayden Sell. Ooh, Hayden gets a big slip. He recovers that car that could have gone badly. It did start to snap a couple of times. Some good car control, managed to save that. He's probably getting a lot of aero wash coming into that corner. Probably had a lot more speed than what the car was used to and lost that downforce for the corner. Teammates to the midline sim racing. Blake and Sebastian now doing battle. Here's Adam again making a move on Sebastian. Nice pass done by Adam. Moves up into position 4. Mark Oulton now having a solid lead with the mistake from Hayden with that slip. He's got about a 1.5 second gap. If he can push that out by another half a second or so, that slipstream advantage is going to start to diminish for Hayden, and then he's going to be able to really pull ahead if he can start keeping some very consistent laps, and especially while Blake is really focusing on taking a spot from Hayden. Not sure where that car had come from. I think he may have actually gotten lost and started doing a different configuration of the track. As it is just switches hats that are actually blocked off the different lines for the configuration for Foster's. I think that was Troy Mortensen. So that's Matt Tesserio who's now catching up to him. Troy Mortensen currently 4 laps down. Stephen Banks currently in getting some repairs by the looks of things. We have Pablo in 18th, Max Harris in 17th, Aaron Thompson in 16th position, Philip Buckland in 15th, Shane Morland currently running 14th, Tony Vaselis in 13th position. It's going to be getting a little bit of pressure from Shane Morland very shortly. Robbie Bradbury and JJ Hamilton battling it out for position 11. JJ showing some very quick pace. He was his previous lap half a second slower than Robbie, but this lap he definitely seems to have it over him. Make our way through the rest of the grid. So position 10, Aaron Maguire. Graham Ellis in position 9. Starting to close down in on teammate from Track Days, Matt Hardigan. Neil McKenzie in position 7. Matt Tesserio in position 6. Look at these 3 here. Blake Urquhart and Sebastian Vandel side by side taking on Hayden. Blake moves up into the... Ooh, a little bit of a contact between Sebastian and Hayden. I think there was a little bit of tyre rub. I was lucky it was tyre to tyre and they didn't interlock in between. That could have spelled disaster, locking the cars together. Oh, they're almost going to squeeze out that back tyre into the rear suspension. Did start to drift out in turn 1. Hayden sitting tight in between Blake and Sebastian. Adam also looking to get on. These guys have done some swapping around. A lot of cat and mouse being played here. We have Mark Oulton still leading the race. We have the tower showing Graham Ellis currently in the lead. That's because he's just had to be towed and then he's just retired out. Racing gets a little bit confused once someone does the tow as it jumps the car right ahead into the lead of the race. Mark Oulton now has a gap of 3.3 seconds. Blake Urquhart's moved into position 2. Hayden Sell in position 3. They all use that curb. Nice line through turn 1. All side by side though. I think there was some wheels going in between each other. They managed to pull that out before they turned in any more. You can't get much closer than that. You can't really rub in these cars as you will usually end up locked in. We did see the incident last week. Aaron Thompson and Robbie Bradbury, which then actually did unfold into quite an incident which we missed on the broadcast. Oh, it's a spin, but then we have Adam actually save it. That was very lucky. So he gets out, hits that curb, drops the tyre off. Far back it took us for this. I think it took us back a little bit further than expected. We did save the car. Here's the slide. Not sure if that was contact marginally from Sebastian. I think it was just spinning just ahead of him. That was very close indeed. Some quick reactions, getting that car to safely back on track. Sebastian a little bit loose as well. Mark's having a solid run. That's now 9 laps led. There's 23.5 minutes remaining. In the next few minutes, it's likely we'll see drivers head into the pits. They're going to need fuel to be able to last out the remainder of the race, as we do cap out the fuel restrictions to 40%. It's not going to be enough fuel to get through. Usually work out they can probably get about 2/3 of the race done. Maybe stretch that out a little bit more if they can fuel conserve with utilising the tow. With Mark leading out in front and laying down basically qualifying times from out the front. Last lap was a 1:11.708. His fastest is a 1:11.292, and that is the fastest lap of the race. So at this stage, it will be an extra 10 bonus points if he can hold on to that lap time. And after taking pole position, if he can take the victory and get the clean sweep for round 4, that's going to be in a very good position for bumping up the ladder for Mark. Previous series, Mark's had a little bit of bad luck, ending up in a few spins and taking on damage. He's had a fantastic series for the Formula Vs. We did see him up on the podium alongside Chaz Mostert and Jake Kostecki just a couple of weeks ago. With just over half the race to go, and he's led for 11 of 15 laps. Have Hayden Sell still looking to battle out Blake for position 2. Yeah, not sure where our supercar drivers are, Troy. Not sure if they're focusing on their E-Series. And both Chaz and Jake run in the E-Series each week. It was good to see them out on track with our members. But Hayden really focusing down on Blake. In behind that left front suspension on Hayden's car. Sees how far they've run out onto that curb. He used every little bit of curb. You can see he's getting a good slipstream advantage here. He's about 10 k's faster than Blake. Oh, that is so close. That's not the I wanted to get. I wanted to get back into the gearbox. Just how close Blake was still sitting on his tail. Nose of his car basically sitting on the gearbox of Hayden's. While these two having to focus on each other, this is doing well for Mark Oulton. He's still out there doing quicker lap times. Last lap at 1:11.511. Hayden and Blake's times were 1:11.7s. So if you can keep this pace up out there, he could be doing well. He doesn't want to be pushing that car out there too hard, especially as the car starts to get down on that lighter end. There could be a bit of use to the track, could get a little bit slippery. Mark Oulton, a little bit of lag skipping going on. Did blank out for a moment. Would be terrible to see him suffer a disconnect at this point in the race. So we've had 3 drivers retire out. Hayden a little bit off pace. He did just have to back off coming out of that corner. There's a little bit of oversteer. And Blake positions along the inside. Going down along the back straight, he's going to be coming down into the sharper right hand. He had to yield back and give that position. Shaved a fair bit of speed off actually in repositioning himself on that line. But he's had another good run in here. He's going to make a move, I think, on the final corners. Blocks that line, holds him back, swings out to the right. I think he's going into the pits. They both decide to pit.